Hey everybody, welcome back to the Planeswalker Coach channel. I'm your host Paladin Robin. Folks, today we have a Planeswalker review. As you can see on your screen, this is Liliana of the Dark Realms. And before we get into all the specifics of this Planeswalker and kind of talk about how I would use this one, I would like to first make sure we thank Webcore. Webcore has been great to us. They've taken care of us. They've given this Planeswalker to us so that we can do this review for you folks. And then you guys can have all the information you want so that you can make an informed decision. Okay, so thank you, Webcore. You guys are incredible as usual. All right, folks, so let's take a look here. Liliana of the Dark Realms. This one, I'd have to say, bottom line up front is that this is probably one of the most powerful mono black planeswalkers that we have to date. I'd say when you look at all of the mono blacks, all of the ones that just have black as the color, I'd say this one is probably a top 2 or top 3. I kind of like the Frasca Betrayal Sting also up there, right? So I kind of really think it just depends on what kind of cards you have in your set. And if you have cards that can really get this one going and humming on all cylinders, this is definitely going to be one of the best mono black planeswalkers that we have. Okay, so there you go. Bottom line up front. Let's go and take a look at some of these things that you see on the screen right now. Here's probably one of the most important things that you have to know about Liliana here. Okay, it's Siphoning the Darkness. It's her passive ability. At the beginning of your turn, if there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard, gain X mana. X is the number of black gems on the board. This is a really good passive ability. It kind of sets the stage for what you want to do when you're playing with Liliana here. What I would do is basically make use of this ability, right? Make sure you have 2 creatures, or at least 2 creatures in your graveyard, right? So you'll want cards that throw other cards into the graveyard. We'll go over some of those cards in particular, but what you really want to do is have at least 2 creatures in your graveyard. And the reason for that is at the beginning of your turn, you're going to get some free mana. The amount of mana is going to be dependent on how many black gems you have on the board. So again, you're going to want to make a lot of creatures, head off to the graveyard, and then also put tons of black gems on the board. That's just going to help you, right? It's going to be a great way for you to play this planeswalker and win a lot of games. So with that, kind of just keep that in mind. That's a good way to set the tone for this planeswalker. All right, so let's take a look. We got 115 for the life points. That's about right. This is a good planeswalker. That's about even. It's a good fair amount of points there. Our mana bonus is here. We got 4 for the black, 3 for the blue. We got 2 for the red, -1 for the white, as you can see. And you got a +1 here for the green. This is going to get to be of importance in a little bit, and I'll go over exactly why I'm talking about this planeswalker's mana bonus, this +4. You'll see in a bit, but for now, let's just go and continue throughout these abilities here. All right, so Grave Corruption, that's the first one. That's going to cost you 6. Destroy the top 6 cards of your library. If a creature card was destroyed this way, convert 5 gems to black. I think this is a very, very useful ability. You know, like I said, if you have a lot of creatures in your deck and you get those creatures into the graveyard, you could pop this maybe every other turn, every 3 turns, and you're going to be converting a lot of gems to black. That's going to be cool. That's going to help you. You're going to get a really big advantage because you're going to be getting all these mana cascades even before you make a swap, right? So that's going to be huge. This is a very, very good ability. It destroys cards from the top of your library. And like I said, that's kind of the theme that you want to run with this planeswalker. So this really does help you with that. So awesome ability. This one I played in decks with lots of creatures, obviously, because we want to make sure we are able to throw creatures into the graveyard, so that way we can hit this ability here, right? We want to make sure we do that. That's going to be super cool if we can get that. That's really what I would say with this one. I'd also use cards like Coffin Queen that helps you to get maybe one of those creatures out of the graveyard, put them on the battlefield so you can use them. Also, Phyrexian Portal is also a good one. You get 1 creature per turn out of the graveyard, put it into play. That's going to be cool. That's not going to be so much of a problem. I think if you have this ability, you just keep hitting it a bunch of times. Or maybe you use the creatures that will have that ability to send more cards into the graveyard. That's a good way to continually make sure you have creatures in the graveyard and continually be able to pull them out with those cards that I just mentioned. Very cool. All right, here's the next one, Dark Consumption. Target creature gets -X/-X. X is equal to half the number of black gems on the board, rounded down. If that creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control. So I think there's a lot you can do with this one here. It's a really good ability. I would obviously load up with black gems on the board to kind of set myself up for this. Obviously, you want to have a lot of black gems. Then what I would do is weaken a creature that you want to take control of. I'd probably use either direct damage to them or maybe Maha, it's Feathers Knight. That's a really good creature. It gives a -3/-3 debuff to your opposing creatures. And then you just probably finish it off with this. And once you finish it off with this, you'll be able to take control of that creature. So really cool here. Alright, so let's get over to this last one for 15, Shadow Triumph. This one I think is one that's going to be very, very useful. This is one that's going to dominate games if you can build a deck towards making this thing just completely bonkers. And that's kind of what I would do here. This is a dominant ability. Anyway, I'll read it to you. It says your black mana bonus is increased by 4. Then if your black mana bonus is 12 or more, destroy all opposing cards. Okay, so there's a couple of things there that's going to be really helpful. You want to increase your black mana bonus by 4, right? That will make it 8. That's incredible. That's a very, very good advantage that you're going to be able to use. Just completely exploit that to your best ability. You're going to win a lot of games just doing that. One thing I want to point out also is that there's no cap on this thing, right? You can just keep hitting this. And as soon as it gets to 12, you're going to destroy all your opponent's cards. And this thing is going to continue to get bigger, right? Those mana bonuses are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And being that there's no cap, you could have 20 on here. You could have 50 on here, right? What a great mana bonus. I would just say, with a situation like that, just make sure you have a lot of cards in your deck that's going to help you to draw cards, right? Because the last thing you want is a mana bonus that's very, very high. You're flooding your hand with tons of mana, but you don't have any cards to pay off, right? So make sure you include cards that will draw for you. This is incredibly dominant, as I said. If you can use it multiple times in a game, right, all you gotta do is hit it twice and you can start destroying your opponent's cards. But if you can do that, that's gonna totally wreck your opponent. You're gonna be able to keep them off the board. And you know, this one is a planeswalker that gets better and better as the game goes on, and this is a big part of what that's about. All right, so excellent planeswalker, one of the top 2 or 3, depending on what kind of cards you have in your set. Okay, so let's take a look at the deck that I've built here. This is the deck that I've built, and as I shared earlier, you want to have a lot of cards like these that will be continuously converting to black gems, right? You see that this planeswalker is one that is very, very good when you convert to black or when you have a lot of black gems on the board already. So you want to just make sure you're able to exploit that advantage with these cards here, and that's going to help you to do that. Just keep a ton of those gems on the board. I kind of like these two here, Nashi and the infamous Cruel Claw. You'll notice that they have something in common, right? Destroy the top X cards of your library. X is this creature's power. So this is going to help us to get rid of cards. We're looking to throw creatures into the graveyard. That's going to help us with that Planeswalker's ability, you know, the one we just saw, the passive ability. That's going to be awesome. The infamous Cruel Claw, kind of same thing, right? Destroy 3 cards from both players' library. You get a free card also. Again, what we're going to try to do is just destroy a lot of cards, so that way we can make use of that second ability. And then also, of course, like that first one that we talked about, that passive ability. Going to be so awesome. For this particular deck, I'm going to be running with that theme, right? Throwing tons of creatures into the graveyard. And the reason that we're going to be doing that is we're going to be hoping to play this one here. This is going to be the way we get a ton of damage to the opponent, right? This is Monstrous Warleech. Pretty cool card. It's an uncommon, as you can see. When this creature enters the battlefield, kick root 2, destroy the top 4 cards of your library. Activate if you've matched blue gems only on that one. This one I kind of will skip, just because we should have a ton of cards already in the graveyard by the time this one comes out. And it says here, this creature gets +X+X. X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. So this one will get a buff depending on the size of the graveyard and how many creatures are in there. So you can see what we're going for with this one, right? We're going to try to put this down. Hopefully we're going to have a ton of creatures in the graveyard. And if we can put this one down multiple times, that's going to make us this really big, nasty creature that's going to win games for us. Okay, guys, take a look at the rest of the deck, and let's take a look also at some game footage. Folks, I'm super excited to show you the game footage. What I'm really hoping for is the ability to convert a ton of gems to black, make use of that cascade, and I'm really just hoping to throw tons of cards into the graveyard. Looks like we're going to be able to do that here already, so that's great. Very cool. We got a match 5 going to start the game. That's awesome. All right, going against Karn. This is an interesting Karn. I don't think I like that one a whole lot, but you know what? There's a lot of players that do. I know that for sure. And I think really, again, it's about what kind of cards you have in your collection. And a lot of this game is about that. So what I would definitely say is build your collection, folks. All right, taking a look here, thinking we're going to go with this. We're trying to get those creatures out, right? This one, I'm going to say not now. As much as I do want to hit that now, I'm going to go not now. And the reason you can see is because it's going to get that free mana. Now, as I was saying, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make sure we have a ton of cards that are going to convert a lot to black. That's going to help us so much. Leyline of the Guild Pack right there. I like this little guy right here. He's giving me free stuff. That's so nice. Good card. I don't know why they call it Cruel Claw. It's a very nice creature here. And you can see what's going on, right? We're able to make some work happen there, right? We're able to work that. There we go. Okay. Tell you what, we get rid of this. We're converting a lot of cards, well, a lot of gems to black, and that's really what we're hoping for. There you go. There's another card that's going to help us to convert stuff. Oh, very cool. All right, very cool. And you can see now we're starting to move this game. We're starting to have that ability to just convert tons and tons of cards to black. Look at that Rakdos. That's a nasty one. Rakdos is really good, and we're starting to see a lot of Rakdos these days. Rakdos is an excellent one, but I'd say with Rakdos, you got to be careful, right? Because a lot of times you'll see players get stolen or will get their Rakdos stolen and whatnot. And it's just, oh boy, it becomes a heck of a problem. All right, I think what we'll do is we'll go with this. I'm hoping to steal a Rakdos myself. Reach the multiverse. What are we going with? Okay, I'll go with this. Let me see if... Ah, shucks, I was hoping to steal a Rakdos. I don't have that ability, but I'm going to go with this because this is going to help me to get rid of some stuff that I don't want the opponent to have. Very cool right there. I think that's one of the things about this game that I love so much, right? There are cards that are just completely dominant, but if you kind of have the wherewithal, you kind of have the ability to kind of plan these things out, you're able to take out cards like Rakdos right there. Rakdos is so nasty, but you're able to take them out. Very cool. All right, we got our War Leech in. That one turned out to be really big. That's awesome. All right, we have a lot of these cards here already, but we're looking good. Folks, I'm excited because we're going to get another one of those, hopefully. And if we can get another one of those, that's going to be awesome. It's going to have a bigger buff than it already has. So cool. And you can see the strength of this deck already, I think. It's doing a lot of that gem conversion. So it's really trying to help us to make use of her abilities. So really awesome. I like Nashi over here. You can see Nashi's going to work, right? Nashi's hitting the opponent and then getting a buff here. That's so cool. We're throwing cards into the graveyard also, so that's awesome. There you go. Big converts. Big converts. There you go. Sweet. And then what we're going to do is hit this because we want to boost that mana bonus. And it's going to really just help us because, again, like I said, if you can make that thing go infinite, then that's going to be awesome. I think we'll go like this. There we go. All right. I'm hoping to see if we can get another big boost to my War Leech. Let's see what kind of buff it gets. Oh, that's a good buff. That's 14 right there. All right, we're going to give this one the double strike ability. That's crazy. I love it. I love it. That's a ton of damage. Very cool. And you can see we're flooding the graveyard now. Guys, this is why I like this one so much, right? It gets stronger and stronger and stronger as the game goes on. You can see the War Leech here getting bigger and bigger. We're at a point where this is going to be the end of the game. So, very cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends. That really helps the channel. And good gaming, guys. This should be the end. It's very cool. There it is. And then we'll get that double strike again. This thing's over, guys. Very cool. Alright, good gaming, guys.